Hey, what's up, everybody? So, this is the 15th of January, the midpoint for Artist of the Month, John Paul Jones. I'm splitting his reactions into what I'm calling two parts. From the 1st to the 15th was his early starting years, including his Zeppelin years. From the 15th onwards, it's now going to be his post-Zeppelin years. There's a lot more to John Paul Jones than just Led Zeppelin, so that's what we're going to be doing after this, man. I'm looking forward to getting to know him in the after part, just as much as I enjoyed, of course, going through his Zeppelin stuff. So speaking of his Zeppelin stuff, this being the last of it, it's not anything really musically that he's doing per se, Zeppelin-wise, but it's basically two things. One, a little bit more of a rockumentary, instructional thing, I believe it is, about his bass work. And then he is a guest star on Mike Bullard. He's doing an interview, and I believe he does some mandolin stuff. So that's pretty much what it's going to be. A little bit of interview, rockumentary, covering the remarkable talent and the contributions of John Paul Jones. So with that being said, I want to give a shout out and a thanks to Harry Rogers. Thanks for the recommendations on the links. Harry says, "Hi Wayne, check out this guy doing great breakdowns on Jonesy's bass work. You'll dig it. Also, here's Jonesy as a guest on Mike Bullard in 2000. He's got great wit." Okay, he meant to say wit and humor. He's got wit. He's got great wit and humor. Maybe that's why the other two did all the talking. Maybe it was out of fear Jonesy would steal the spotlight. One would certainly wonder after seeing this. You'll know what I mean. Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm mostly joking, but serious at the same time. Enjoy, Harry. Thank you, Harry. You're staying true to your nature and your form. Harry is, how would I call him? He is a tester. He wants to test you with things, see what you think about things. He's the guy responsible for sending me The Curse of Led Zeppelin and all of these different things. And so he likes to test. Man, I could imagine you were probably a god-awful little brother, you know? Anyway, I appreciate you, Harry. Thanks very much. I'm looking forward to it. You've always got great suggestions. So, let's do this, man. Let's do a back-to-back. And check out the bass works and the interviewing chops of John Paul Jones. Let's get it. Of course, they're going to start off with Ramble On. Cheers.
John Paul Jones was the bass player in Led Zeppelin. In this video, I'm going to examine some of his bass lines, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons why Led Zeppelin bass is so great. Doubling the guitar part. Let's start with something simple. As bass players, sometimes we want to stand apart from the guitarist and play our own unique part. But sometimes the right thing to do is to double the guitar part. John Paul Jones knew this, and you can hear it to good effect in the Wonton song. And here again in Black Dog. Riff-heavy bands such as Metallica, Rage Against the Machine, and more recently Greta Van Fleet have all been directly influenced by Led Zeppelin, and they use this method to good effect. Use the ninth. In the verse of Ramble On, the guitar is roughly playing an E major chord and an A major chord. The first time through, the bass plays a root and a fifth over an E chord, and a root, a sixth, and a fifth over an A chord. Pretty standard note choices so far.
Yeah, of course, I got it.
So the second time through, he plays a root, a third, a second, and then back to the root over the E chord, and then a third, a second, and a root over the A chord, with a little flourish to conclude the phrase. When referring to chord tones, you will often hear the second referred to as the ninth. I'm not going to go into the full explanation of why that is, but if you ever hear a ninth being talked about, it usually means the second note of the major scale, and often up an octave. So if you're looking to create a more melodic bass line, try the ninth. If you're not familiar with some of these music theory terms, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll try and answer your question, or you can check out some of my previous music theory videos. Nailing the subdivision. If you listen to the isolated bass track for Ramble
How
On,
to Bass,
you can hear John
channel.
Paul Jones make a very subtle percussive sound on beat 2. This is where the snare would usually fall. So this could be a hit against the strings with the hand, or it could be a percussive mute. It's hard to say, but it gives insight into the way he is feeling the pulse. A lot of the notes in this line are played off the beat, but they're played very accurately. It's very common to hear bass players rush this type of syncopated note. So when you hear it done well, it's a sign of a pro. Give it a try. Record yourself playing this line and then listen to it back. If you are rushing, like I said, it's a very common thing, try to really feel the beat, just like you can hear John Paul Jones doing in this clip. You can tap your foot, you can nod your head, move your shoulders, whatever works for you. Know your chord tones. In the Wonton song, Jimmy Page plays a couple of diminished 7th chords, which creates some tension while passing between diatonic chords. The diminished 7th chord sounds very dissonant and can be found naturally on the 7th degree of the harmonic minor scale, and it's made up of the root, the flat 3rd, the flat 5th, and a double flat 7. It's not a very common chord in pop and rock music, so you'd be forgiven for not knowing the chord tones for this one. An easy choice would have been just to play the root, but as John Paul Jones was a legit trained musician, he outlines the full chord. So practice your arpeggios, because you never know when you may get the opportunity to use them.
Okay.
So this one's more of a compositional technique than specifically about the bass. But as it was John Paul Jones who wrote Black Dog, I'd like to include it in this video. So this song is full of time signature changes and free time sections. The part that I'd like to discuss is...
Yeah, that part. That tripped me out the first time I heard it.
So what's happening here? The drums are playing in 4/4, and the guitar and bass are playing a repeating riff that, if listened to in isolation, sounds like it's in 9/16. So it's 9 16th notes, or 9 semiquavers. That means that the riff and the drums do not fully line up. So each time the riff starts, it's on a different part of the bar, creating this mind-bending rhythmic dissonance.
Mind-bending.
I think it's fair to say that this is a very sophisticated technique for a mainstream rock band at the time. Some other examples of this are Bleed by Meshuggah. Meshuggah. Okay, Google, how do you pronounce Meshuggah?
That's pronounced Meshuggah.
Animals by Talking Heads.
I'm mad. That's a fact. I found out animals don't help. Animals think they're pretty smart.
And Kashmir, another Led Zeppelin song. Just a quick side note, this is not to be confused with polyrhythms, which is where 1 meter is stretched to fit exactly over another meter. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, and now check out one of these videos.
Right on. Man, that was some intense shit. Good stuff though. It really gives you an appreciation for the greatness of the man. That got loud as hell.
Ladies and gentlemen, his new album, Zuma, yes, is in stores now. Yeah. Yes, and I'm sure a few copies were shoplifted today. Please welcome one of the greatest musicians who's ever lived, John Paul Jones.
We got fans, dude. Why are they not playing a Zeppelin song to introduce him?
I want to thank you.
This is in 2000.
I want to thank you very much, John, for coming here this evening. You are the first guest ever to make a special trip just to be on our show.
All the way from Washington?
Yes.
And somewhere else. I don't even remember where I was the night before.
Well, let me tell you something, my friend. We are so touched, we are considering reimbursing you for your plane ticket.
Oh, okay.
Something that's just not done on this show.
I stowed away, you don't have to bother.
Did you? Okay, good. That's great. Now, do you remember playing in this building?
No.
Okay.
It looks a lot different, I think.
Yes, it looked a lot different, but I have photographic evidence that you actually played in this building. On the Jay Leno show, they would show a film clip, but we have photos.
Yep. I do budget tours as well.
There we go. There's a shot of you playing right here. Take a look at that on the camera.
That might be a stand-in under all that hair.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Let's take a look at this. Incidentally, where you're standing in that particular photo is where you're sitting right now.
Really?
Woo!
Just like that, huh?
There's one more. There's one more. Well, that's the same shot. We won't show that.
Shot?
But,
okay.
This is incredible. This building has a great history. This is when the building was called the Rock Pile. Does that bring back any memories?
Yeah.
All right.
I can see the size of it too, and.
Oh yeah, it was huge. At one time, they used to get hundreds of people in here for a show. Yes. Now,
a few more than I'm getting for mine at the moment, actually.
Oh, I'm sure you're doing very, very well on this tour. You must be very excited.
I'm playing small theatres, though, which is really nice. Yeah, it's just great to play to people you can like see, you know, because by the end of Zeppelin, we were doing these huge stadiums, and you knew there were people there because you saw them line up outside when you drove in.
Right.
But apart from that, it was like, they're out there somewhere. I know.
Now, you must have a lot of people coming up to you who saw you when you played with Led Zeppelin. They come up with their ticket stubs, ask you to sign them from tours you did in years past.
Yeah. Tours we didn't do even. That's fair. People give me bootlegs as well. You know, they say, you really want to listen to this? Yeah, okay.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said they gave me one bootleg, and I put it on, and it wasn't even us. It's like, you paid $5 for this? Okay.
Was it a nice listen, though?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Okay, good. Now, I saw Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young last night. Did you ever play with them? Did you fellas ever play in the same venues? Or?
No. When they did the Woodstock thing, we were down the other end of the country. We were playing the Whiskey A Go-Go.
Nice. Were you really? In Los
Angeles, yes.
Yeah, wow,
yes.
Fantastic history there.
Not 400,000, more like 40 or so.
Whiskey A Go-Go is a Dooley's now. That's what it is. That company's growing in leaps and bounds. Now, I got to ask you one question before we move on to the serious stuff. Have you ever made out to Stairway to Heaven?
Made out?
I danced to Stairway to Heaven. For the first part.
If you haven't, you're probably the only person in this room.
I was going to say, yeah. I was going to say every night we played it, but, you know.
Yeah, you made out like bandits on that, too. Now, what were you doing before Led Zeppelin?
What wasn't I doing? I played on everybody else's record. Tom Jones, I did all Donovan, Rolling Stones.
Yardbirds.
Yardbirds, Herman's Hermits, everything.
Yeah. Now, of all those experiences, what for you has been a high watermark in your career?
Just being able to play guitar and get paid for it. I mean, I still can't believe my luck all these years later. I tell you.
Yes. Coincidentally, that is the big dream of our guitarist. He's never had a paycheck that didn't bounce.
Keep them keen, keep them mean, yeah.
Now, I listened to the CD today. Your work has influenced so many people. Were there any influences you had while you were making this particular album?
This particular album, well, I've had like 35 years of influences, right from James Jamerson of Motown to Duck Dunn, Stax, Ray Charles, everybody. But yeah, I'm influenced by everything I hear. Every bit of music I hear is an influence. So.
Well, when you start with such a wide range of interests as you did when you started this album, how do you pare it down to 9 songs? Because I noticed you must have done a lot of editing on this.
Yeah, well,
before you went into the studio.
The rationale for the album was to give me an excuse to play live on stage.
Right.
Because that's the one thing I hadn't done over the last 20 years. And so I designed all these things to be played live, and that kind of narrowed it all down, basically. It's like, lots of that, and lots of that, you know, so it's easy.
Now, I brought my mandolin from home today.
Thank goodness, because I forgot mine.
I took it right off my rec room wall over the fireplace. And I brought it here just for you, and I was hoping that you could honor us by playing a little something.
Oh, okay.
Was my grandfather's.
Oh, I would treat it very, very carefully.
Yes. He was, actually, it was a guitar then. My grandpa was a midget.
Just left it out in the rain a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, well, I can play something.
That'd be wonderful.
Something short.
All right.
A little thing that we used to do back in the old days in front of a fire.
I always think of Led Zeppelin's Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Well, you know, be prepared, you know.
Thank you, sir. What a pleasure.
Thank you.
So this
Pleasure
is
to have you here.
So what album
Get
is
your
he
car
waving
going after
around
these
with?
messages.
Excellent. Right on. Mike Bullard, is that show still around? Is he still on? I have no idea. That was excellent. That was excellent. I see what you're saying, Harry, about his wit and his humor and his delivery. He's definitely got some humor. About your question, your challenge, whatever it is that you're posing at me about him, about the other two being afraid that he stole the spotlight, that he would steal the spotlight if he was allowed to talk more. If he was allowed to talk more, yeah, I think he would have stolen the spotlight. But I think that he, at the time when he is next to Plant, next to Page, he is assuming a role, I think, probably assuming the role given to him as being the quiet one, maybe. Assuming the role of next to the two of them not talking as much. Mainly, I think, for one, he probably can't get his, a word in edgewise. But at the same time, too, I think that a lot of the times the interviewer, especially if it's live face-to-face, they might be more looking and directing their gaze at Page and Plant more. So in that sense, they're picking up a cue from the interviewer as well, to just talk and answer, you know what I mean? Next to Page, I can understand because it's Page's platform, it's his ship, he's the captain, it's his brainchild and things of that sort. So naturally, Page would do more of the talking with all of them involved. But Plant, I think, he's just more of a talker. You know, so I think that that's what would happen. But I remember, oh, forgive me, was it Evelyn who sent it to me? When they were on with David Letterman and they were in a line. So David Letterman was here, and then Jonesy had the seat right next to him. So he had a little bit more of an opportunity to speak. And man, did he ever steal the show with that one, with his wit and with his humor. So I know what you're saying, Harry. I hear you. I don't know. I don't think that there's anything intentional. I think it's just how it just kind of falls, you know? Yeah, but yeah, the guy's definitely got a lot of value in regards to a nice interview, and I like his delivery, I like his dry wit, and he's very, very entertaining. And so I was really, really happy to see a couple of isolated interviews of just him alone. And I think that's the best way to actually feature John Paul Jones, is a straight one-on-one interview, because there's a lot that he has to offer in the way of his background, where he's been, how we met Jimmy, and all of that sort of thing. So coming from him, that's a really, really cool interview and a really nice treat, you know. It's great seeing the three of them sitting in line together, and you say, yo, man, look at these great legends, you know, and if only John was still here, that sort of thing. But yeah, I really actually do appreciate seeing him solo. Let's take a look and see what a lot of people are saying in the comments about this. One of the most underrated musicians. Everybody says that, man. He's underrated only because he is the quiet one. He's got the stigma of being the quiet one. And he is, you know, he is a bright, bright, shining star, but he's standing next to three, what do you call that? Supernovas. You know what I mean? So when you've got that element, yeah, you've got to accept your role and know your place. And I think he's done that over the period of time, right? And I think he's got the wisdom to know that he's fortunate being where he is, and that he is just as skilled as all three of them. So he knows that he belongs, you know, and he knows that he's part of that great signature sound. So it doesn't matter if all the attention is on the other three. He knows his place, and he knows his worth and his value, you know. And that's the calmness and the serenity that comes off of him. He knows his value. That's what happens when you share the stage with the greatest guitarist, drummer, and rock singer. True, true. That's it right there, right? And in the rock band world, you've always got your quiet ones, you know. You got Jonesy, you got Charlie, you've got George, you know, and it goes on and on like that. That's just how it is. Look at all of the replies to it, though. I won't read them because, you know, I'm sure that it's going to turn into a pissing contest. I hope John Paul Jones knows how much Led Zeppelin fans appreciate his work in the band. We love you, John Paul Jones. Yeah, and lots of comments there. Tremendous amount. This man is a giant, so overlooked, but musicians and audiophiles know. John Paul Jones ages very well. Yes, he's aged the best out of all of them, even though he's not the youngest. Just to play guitar and get paid for it. I still can't believe my luck after all these years. Yeah, that's a great line, isn't it? And very, very true. Because, I mean, back in the day, you know, it was basically a matter of what would land and what would catch, wasn't it? When you had such a bounty of talent back then. Some of them didn't get the right platform, didn't get a decent track to run on. And so another thing too, props to him for seeing the value in Jimmy Page and trusting him and trusting his vision. I don't know how in tune he was where Peter Grant was concerned. I don't know what their relationship status was, if he knew him already. But I think that he saw the potential of where Jimmy Page could go. And I think that he probably saw that way back, even before the Zeppelin, even before the Yardbirds. You know, he's like, you know, you peg certain people. Keep an eye on this guy. I know that out of the bunch of all of these great men, he's going to be great as well. And, you know, but so in the pecking order of where to end up. You had so many different avenues back then. There was Jeff Beck around, there was the Stones, there was all of these different places that he could have gone. And so to say to Jimmy, I want to be a part of what you're doing, you know, that's, in my mind, he was a visionary as well as Jimmy Page was, and he saw the greatness of what could happen. The greatest secret weapon a band ever had, absolutely. The silent assassin and the glue. There are no words to describe the magnitude of the talent of this genius. Absolutely. Holy cow, this guy has a lot to say. It looks interesting though. John Paul Jones. After watching this, I gained so much respect for this guy. I already respected him as a member of Led Zeppelin, but I respect him even more because of his super cool, down-to-earth attitude. Jones and Bonham were truly the backbone of Led Zeppelin, as any bassist and drummer should be. If you listen closely to the Rain song, you can hear all of John's intricate piano bass lines. He is truly a beautiful soul, and he kicked ass in one of the most awesome bands ever. Yeah, absolutely. John Paul Jones is an absolute legend, from bass guitar to mellotron to mandolin. Jeez, man, what is wrong with my brain? What the hell is a mellotron? I know what a mellotron is, I just for some reason can't think of what it is at the moment. It'll come back to me and I'm gonna feel stupid. Guitar and backup vocals and harmonies. He put the Zeppelin in Led Zeppelin, allowing them to soar to all sorts of epic heights. Yeah, you know what? I think right there is probably one of his biggest contributions. There's still more of what this person is saying, but I think he got it right here. Allowing them to soar to all sorts of epic heights and go in many different directions. He was really, really well-rounded with his playing, whether he's playing keyboards or bass. And it gave them the platform. And collectively also with John to go in so many different directions. And they were able to keep up with them. They could anticipate. When I say them, I'm thinking more Plant and Page, because they sometimes kind of led the direction. And they knew where these guys were going, and they were able to actually meet them there, you know. So the two Johns, I give them props for that. That is the #1 reason why I would give them the halo of being the best rhythm section in rock and roll, because they could keep up with the likes of Page and Plant. And you know that shit's not an easy feat. His last interview, he was saying, you really gotta be alert and you gotta pay attention to all of the different shifts and all of the different things and all of the different places that you can go. Because if you stray in thought or whatever for even a second, you've missed the mark and you've missed the landing. I remember he said that in his last interview. So I think the two Johns collectively, they are the best rhythm section in rock and roll because of that. They're on that shit. They know where these guys are going. Even if they don't know where they're going, they know where they're going to end up, you know, and they position themselves. That's greatness right there. So I understand why John Paul Jones says, he also said that he doesn't want to work with another drummer. Why work with another drummer when he's already had the very best? I understand that now. So I'm continuing with what this lad says. He has the Midas touch with all the instruments he plays, and with Led Zeppelin. He helped to revolutionize rock music forever and cast a massive shadow on the genre and a multitude of its subgenres. Wow, man. This guy should be a critic. Brother Daniel Cole, that's his name. You should be writing for All Music. Absolutely. Get in touch with me and I'll definitely send you a recommendation if I have any kind of pull and influence at all. But I've been giving All Music props for the past 3 years, so they better listen to my ass. Alright. Wow, he takes the mandolin to a whole other level. Very soulful picking. Yes, the shy one, the modest one, the one in the shadow, the one standing one step back, with a talent. What a talent, what a musician. We love you, Jonesy. Yeah, absolutely. You know, somebody was saying to me, I like the way Batman is. among the rest of the Justice League. He is the guy who is standing in the shadows. He is the guy that's letting Wonder Woman and Superman and all the others get all of the glory and the accolades. You will never see him standing in the middle of a public street writing autographs or saving a damn cat out of a tree. You know, he is satisfied to be the one who is the glue of it all, turning it all. So I akin Batman and the way he conducts himself to the way Jonesy conducts himself. You heard it first time from me. Batman could be John Paul Jones with the cowl on, right? Think of it that way. I'm being silly, but I'm being serious at the same time. You get my understanding. If you are a fan of the Justice League and you've seen the way Batman conducts himself in the lineup of the Justice League behind all the other heroes, you know, he is the glue of it all. He definitely is the silent assassin, and there's just so many traits that I see. First time, you heard it here, comparing Batman to John Paul Jones. Two legends, man. Not a whole lot of people can shred on a mandolin. I was just thinking that. I was watching that. This guy has everything bold and in capitalization, so I guess I gotta read it. Last one. That was John Paul Jones' personal mandolin. If it had his symbol on its truss rod cover on the headstock. Fun fact, John Paul Jones' symbol was chosen from an old book of runes, as its meaning was competent and confident. Two words that perfectly describe him. Yeah, I was thinking that too. That is definitely, it's probably his mandolin and they were just having fun. Yeah, let's stop there because it's all good, man. It's all good. I'm not seeing any negative comments. I don't expect to see any negative comments. We're talking about John Paul Jones. If you have anything negative to say about John Paul Jones, one, you're no friend of mine, and two, you were raised wrong, right? That's all I got to say about that. So, let me scroll down and see what I got going on here. So you guys already know that this will be my last installment of John Paul Jones where it comes to the Zeppelin stuff. Now I'm going to go into his post-Zeppelin stuff. Gotta give that some props, give that some light and appreciation. And I definitely want to do reactions to all of his albums, whether it's good, whether it's bad, I don't care. I'm going to do full reactions to all of them. And oh yeah, send me his albums if I don't have them already. I'm not sure, but I'll kind of look at it all. First off, somebody tell me how many solo albums he's got, what albums of note I should be doing full reactions to. Give me kind of like an outline in my mind so I can kind of plot my next 2 weeks, okay? Do that for me, someone. All right, yeah, so post Zeppelin Jonesy coming up in the next day or two, starting in the next day or two. Carmine, Jeffrey, Bayou, Susan, Pete, Jennifer, got reactions I gotta hit up for y'all. And what else was I gonna say? Yeah, only that this month is going fast as hell. I'm glad we got some distance away from the holidays, you know. Too much holidays, I don't know, it all of a sudden puts me in a very intolerant mood. So it was just enough time. Now let's make some damn distance from the holidays. You know, I would like to scale the holidays back to officially like maybe just a week and a half rather than like 3, you know. Anyway, hey, that's just me. So that concludes our look, and I really hope, that's what I was going to say, fingers crossed, man, that this will make it onto YouTube, especially with the first, the lad from the first video there, 5 reasons Led Zeppelin bass sounds great. How to Bass is the channel. So looks great, man. This guy definitely knows what he's talking about. But I hope, and fingers crossed, that we'll be able to actually see this on YouTube, because I wasn't expecting him to actually play Led Zeppelin tracks. So I don't know, that might, we'll see. We'll see how that goes, fingers crossed. Anyway, that is it for now. I'm going to bounce y'all. Have a good one. Take care. And the next time you see me doing a Jonesy reaction, it'll be something post Led Zeppelin. I'll see you then. Peace.